I'm back with another Oktoberfest recipe, and as I said in my previous video, I've basically given you all the regular Oktoberfest recipes in other videos in the years before. The playlist for these videos is here, so if you're looking for some more recipes for Oktoberfest, you will find them there. Today I'll do something that is basically a little bit related to Oktoberfest because it's made with beer, and Oktoberfest is kind of a beer fest. So we are making an Oktoberfest beer jelly. Here's what you need. You need some sugar, some pectin, a bit of vanilla paste or a vanilla bean, a little bit of cinnamon, and of course beer. And you will need some jars to put the jelly in. The recipe is pretty straightforward. You need the sugar and you need some beer. So I'm making half the recipe. The entire recipe would be with double the amount. And I'm adding the beer to the sugar. And then I'll use half a package of the pectin. You can, of course, make double the amount. It makes a really good gift for your guests if you're having an Oktoberfest. You can make little jars with a little bit of beer jelly. Then I'm adding a tiny bit of the cinnamon and some vanilla extract or vanilla paste in this case. If you want to use a vanilla bean, I would scrape the inside of the bean and put it into this liquid, and also add the bean itself and boil it with the rest of it, and then remove it before I fill the jelly into the jars. Now I mix this all together. And this goes now onto the stove, and I will bring it to a boil and let it boil for a little bit. And then I will make a test if it's gelling. So for that I put a small plate into the freezer already, so it's a cold plate. And I will then put a little bit of the boiling jelly onto that plate, wait a minute or two and see if it's still runny or not. If it's not runny, I know it's gelling good enough, and then I can continue. If it's not gelling, you could add a little bit of citric acid to make it gel. So I gave this a little bit of time to calm down. It was all bubbles, and now you can see here that the beer has calmed down. It just has some of this foam up here. So I will do a little bit of a test now. I'll take some and put it on this ice-cold plate. And I'll wait a bit to let it cool. And as you can see, it just took a few seconds and it's already setting. It's not runny at all. And that shows me that this gel is ready to be filled into the jars. So now you see there is a lot of foam here. And usually we don't want to have foam in our jelly or marmalade jars, because it's containing air, and air can potentially lead to mold. So if you plan to use this right away in the next couple of days, it's probably fun to keep the foam in the jars. But for the purpose of keeping this jelly a little longer, you probably want to remove the foam first. And for that, you can just use a spoon like this and just scrape it off. Okay, that's as good as it gets. And I don't have to discharge this. I can use this on some bread or something like pancakes in the next couple of days. Okay, so for the jars, they need to be sterilized with boiling water. And I already did that. And I can now fill the jelly into the jars. Now you probably noticed that I used a really large pot for boiling the jelly. It comes up in the pot very much and very far, so I really recommend using a the largest pot that you have, or the highest pot at least, so that you don't have it boil over. Okay, so of course I'm now adding the lid. And then I turn it upside down and let it cool. And for later I will use this label to decorate the jar and let everyone know what's in it. And if you want to find this label as a printable, it's on my blog, and here's the link. Another link that I will provide down there in the description box of this video is the link to my Etsy shop, where you can find printables that you can use for your Oktoberfest to decorate the table. Well, now you know how to have beer for breakfast without anyone giving you an eye. Let me know in the comments what you think you will use this jelly for. I will use it with some German pancakes. I hope you like this video. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and happy Oktoberfest, everyone!